I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you have surely experienced one or two bugs while you've been playing the game. Well, if you looked at the thumbnail, you know that today we have a different sort of bug. Are you excited? I know I am. Yes, my loyal viewers, we are back on Setons for the second time in 2 weeks for whatever terrible crimes we may have committed to deserve that. Many of my viewers will recognise this map very well indeed. I'll talk about it in a little bit for the newer viewers who don't. We have the North team in the north, we have the South team in the south. In the forward position for North team, this fellow is KuhwaKlimakleber, whom I'm going to call Klima so I don't spend the entire match swearing in Polish. He's 1994 rated, the highest rated player for North team. He's Eon and he's in grass green. In North team's beach position, we have a guy who loves Twitter so much that he named himself after it 6 times. This is xxxxx. I am, unsurprisingly, going to call him X this game. He is 1378 rated in Cybran, he is in red. Back to the air position. This is Zoom. Zoom is 1662 rated. He is Eon and he is in mauve. And last but not least for the northern team, in their rock position we have Jukeboxhero, who is 1287 rated and Cybran, he's in baby blue. Moving on to the southern team, already advancing here as you would expect of someone in his position, is Sainse. Sainse is 1454 rated and Cybran in electric pink. In their beach position, we have zerbitvii, who is 1208 rated. He's UEF and he's in dark green. By far the game's highest rated player in South Team's air position, we have VIP. Now VIP has a lot of syllables to say, so I'm just going to call him VIP. Is he a very important person or is he just a VIP? We're going to find out this game. What is a VIP anyway? He is 2338 rated, he's Eon and he's in white. And last but not least, in the rock position for South Team, already with the transport heading out to the side island, he's opened first air, which is quite common for rock players. This is Crypteck. He is 1385 rated and Eon, and he is in this season's very fashionable Fika Brown. And he's already got his dropout, which is quite nice. Air Factory is still under construction here for Jukebox. He's going to be rather slower to getting his side island, which might harm him in the long run. Now, Seton's the map. The main feature is that there is a vast heap of reclaim in the middle, and as you can see, both Klima and Sainse are getting in there with their comms as fast as possible to reclaim it. Other than that, each side has a very defensible area in terms of there only being this narrow land passage, 2 separate oceans to fight over. Because of this extra eco bonus from the island, you normally expect the rock player to win the ocean. And then there's the air player at the back. So that's the map, that's Setons. And we have, but recently the meta has been for the beach players to come forward with their comms and help the front players in middle. Zerbit isn't doing that, he is sending a transport forward though. Bomber here out from X, and that bomber is going to try and hit Sainse. Will it be able to do any good work? These NGs are, I think, its target. Nice hit. That's 3 dead. And we'll watch that on the inset, but here we have to notice that Sainse is under fire from Kuhwa, who is getting himself the gun. He cancels the gun so that he can stop Sainse getting this turret up. But here we've got a turret, an uncapped turret, an unwalled turret, which is a bit silly, going down from Zerbit, and Zerbit's trying to build a factory. And Klima is pushing in here, but this turret is actually doing damage to him while Sainse is just grabbing the reclaim. Great work from Sainse there. And Klima is going to take, he's expressing surprise at it. He will take the turret down, but at what cost? However, X has come up to support Klima. Klima's got this line of Aurora tanks, and so I think Sainse is going to be forced deep into the water. He is almost in the red. So, good work from North Team there. And that bomber managed to get quite a decent number of kills before being shot down. So, good work from X with that bomber. Sainse in the red now with only 1800 hit points, being forced deeper into the water. He wasn't able to grab as much of these wrecks as he would like. And this factory is just being straight up reclaimed by Klima. Nice. Bit of free extra reclaim there for the North Team. And North Team seem like they have the map control. They control the reclaim. Saints trying to flee in this direction. Zerbit's dropped again a little further back and has put up another factory. A rather safer position, but I'm not sure it's going to achieve much now that most of the reclaim has gone. Saints starts the gun, but he pauses it, and we can see why. He hasn't got the power to afford a gun upgrade. He's barely got the power to afford anything even without the gun upgrade. So that was wise to pause, but it does mean he's going to have trouble fighting his way out of the water here. And he cancels it, and he's going to try and just make a run for it. This is quite a lot of Auroras, and Auroras are quite hard to micro alone come against. But there are these tanks from Saints coming in to help out. However, he is going to take quite a lot of damage if he tries to make a run for it. We've got to keep an eye on this and see what happens. But Klima has fallen back while he goes for the gun range upgrade himself, and he goes straight onto the speed upgrade. But it does mean that Saints gets to escape, pretty much for free. I wasn't actually expecting that. And we've got assistance here from X going down to help Klima finish the gun. Klima massing quite a big force here. They could probably do quite a bit of damage if they pushed, and there's the push. Is that the push? Okay, that's sort of a push. That's a reposition as Klima finishes the gun, and he's going to come forward. Now, I cannot help but notice that, look at the reclaim differential. North Team is 4k ahead, and that's how much match they have ahead. So, North Team are ahead in eco strictly by the amount that they've reclaimed here, in excess over South Team. So, excellent work in the early reclaim battle for the Northern Team. Meanwhile, we have a T1 bomber out from the air player. Not usual for the air player to focus on a T1 bomber, but we also have T1 bombers out for Jukebox. And he's going to try and raid this position. Now, he's scouted it with these inties, but there is an anti-air turret up here, which will be able to work through this bomber over time. Ha! Which will be able to kill it straight away. Don't know what I was complaining about. Meanwhile, Klima is pushing in, and with the gun upgrade he can easily take point defenses. Zerba just gives this factory over to Saints so he can use it to build support for himself, and Saints has to fall back against this combined arms force. I say combined arms, what I mean is combined players, because xxxxxx is in there. And the pressure is pretty relentless. Saints starts the gun. Is that wise? He's on literally half health. That is, and there's quite a big enemy army and a gun com here. This feels very unwise, I've got to say, for Saints. He pushes in with his spam to try and defend, which does force Klima back a little bit. But Sainse is forced to retreat. He's almost finished his gun. Is that a fire beetle? Boom! Cheeky fire beetle blows up on Klima. One fire beetle on its own isn't going to get that much work done. But Sainse does finish the gun upgrade. However, he's only got 3,000 hit points left. Jukebox has dropped down here, and he's been able to force this anti-air turret here to cancel as Zerbit desperately fills up a point defense to try and stop these mantis. These mantis need to come down here, away from this point defense, and get some damage done on the, and they do. They're going to be able to get some lovely damage done here on the expansion of Zerbit, if any of the mantis survive, but they're out of range of the point defense. Up here, the posturing continues. We're getting a few more T2 units out from Sainse, but I want to watch this drop. What it really needs to do is take out these mexes in order to pay for itself. And how is Zerbit going to answer this? One tank is not going to be enough against 3 mantis. He is putting up a plasma cannon here. That feels like an inefficient way to do it. Like, why not run up a factory here and build a few units and then build more MGs? I don't know, but that's his choice. And we have another drop coming in from Jukebox. That drop looks like it's heading deeper though. However, it's been seen by these inties and it might have to drop early if he wants it to survive. But I don't think he's looking at it. And an ASF comes in from VIP and destroys that transport. Now, these guys are going to die. There's a point defense up, there's a factory up, but they've taken out this expansion, which is nice work. Back to the middle, where we have all these shenanigans going on for Sainse and Klima. Sainse finishes stealth and starts work on Nano, but he cancels it. He thinks that's enough because he's going to push forward, and he's now got these T2 point defenses, which will help him defend against Klima. A T2 point defense can be defeated by a gun com, but there's multiple T2 point defenses here. There's a gun com with stealth here, and there's an army here, and so there's no way Klima can take it alone. He's focusing far on Sainse, and he might be able to get some damage done. These shields are very nice. Quick look over on the inset there as naval action is taking place. Zerbit is sending in his navy to try and deny Jukebox's side island. Sainse under a lot of pressure here. VIP supporting Jukebox with a Tech 2 Spectre gunship. Sainse very badly damaged with only 3,600 hit points left. What's he going to do about it? Well, fire beaters is what he's going to do about it. In they go. Boom! Look at this delicious fire beetle work. That was an enormous amount of spam for Klima blown up. Klima not happy at all there, as he loses a lot of spam to a wave of fire beaters from Sainse. You know me, you know I love a bit of fire beetle play, and that is what we like to see. Now, Sainse is going to be able to push forward, but Klima is reinforcing quickly. He's already built up most of the army he lost, and I don't know if Sainse really have enough to keep the damage going. Sainse is still on the front line, bold as brass, fighting with his comm there. These shields are making it difficult for him. He will be able to take out a bit of the production there, which is nice. And I think there's rather too many mobile missile launchers in Klima's force here, because all of the stuff he's up against is mobile, and mobile missile launchers are best against static targets, so he ought to be focusing more on blazes and obsidians at this stage. Constant trickle of T1 bombers from Sainse is also doing a bit of work, but not as much as it could. Quick check over here where there's some decent T2 forces getting out towards Crypteck's navy. He has got T2, but he hasn't actually got any T2 units on the field. Back to the middle where Sainse continues to be pushing, and he's now using hoplites in support. Hoplites are very good offensive units. They're less good if a push comes in on them because they're made of paper. But if you've got something to hold the enemy spam back, like a gun common, look how much Sainse has regenerated. As a Cyberman, he has great regeneration. He's also up to 3 vets, and he's got the stealth on him, which adds a little bit. But this could be the moment. This could be the moment as the fire beaters come rushing in. They come rushing in on the comm for Klima, and they swarm him, and boom! That is a fire beater snipe from Sainse on Klima, and it's beautiful. I love it. As the explosion from the fire beaters clears up, Klima is not happy about that, but that was a lot of fire beaters, and he needed to have seen them coming because he's got Omni on the comm. Were they buffed, he asked? No, in fact, if those of you who watched my recent patch notes video know, they were nerfed in that their stats would not improve, but they now cost energy to run their cloak, so fire beaters have in fact been made worse. So nonetheless, props to Sainse for getting a fire beater snipe. Klima might hate it, but I love to see it. And Sainse is now pushing forward. Quick look at the ponds. There's this T2 here from X, which is looking good, but the Navy is pretty numerous and now does have a bit of T2 in it from Crypteck. Here in the South Pond, we have a big T2 engagement going down in the middle. But I think there's more production, and there's also much more eco for Jukebox, so Jukebox might have the advantage here unless something changes. However, and that's also true of the team in general. There's nearly 100 eco lead for North Team. So despite being a player down, North Team might just have the advantage. However, that was North Team's highest rated player. And when your enemy's highest rated player is a 2300, they are really going to have to step up their game. Sainse is now being very bold with his comm, and there's an extent to which he can afford to be. There is the T2 production here, which he hasn't killed yet, but look at the work he is getting done. And he is also supported by T3 air from VIP. This restorer is going to town on the units here, and there isn't actually much to defend that X has been given of the base that used to belong to Klima. However, X does have a T2 Navy, and it is bombarding the comm for Sainse. Sainse might be in trouble if he doesn't get out of there. And he's just having to run from this destroyer fire. However, he's going to get this HQ here. He's going to get this PGen here. And this forward base is going to be completely eliminated. And the HQ is up here, so there's not going to be much help coming from back here to help out X. However, he's got this Navy threatening him on this side, and now he's got to worry about coming this way too, because Jukebox has brought back his Navy and is going to use that too to bombard the forces and the comm of Sainse. Which way is Sainse going to go? Well, Crypteck has come to his rescue. Crypteck's Navy is forcing X's Navy back on this side, and that means Sainse can flee in this direction away from Jukebox's Navy. Is Sainse heading for the water on that side? I think he would be wise too, because look at this, Crypteck is really forcing X back here. X has 2 bases worth of eco, which will help him outproduce Crypteck, but although while he's outproducing Crypteck, he's not getting any defenses built against Sainse using that eco. However, Sainse is falling back to the water behind the Navy from Crypteck. Zerbit is massing a Navy here, which he can afford to do, because the Navy from... Ooh, almost some naughty there. A little bit of land jogging. But Jukebox is back in the water here. He knows he'll need to mass up against that Navy from Zerbit. And over here, we have a Restorer raid coming in for VIP against these naval units that are left. There's no cruisers in here. There's no cruiser under construction. This could get work done. Sainse, meanwhile, has started Torpedo. And I think the air fight is going down. Sure, Zum has taken out the Restorers and he's retreating over the base of X to take the air fight, but nonetheless, he's losing that air fight. VIP will take air control and he's following it up with a Solace. A Solace is a unique Eon unit. It's a T3 torpedo bomber. And these SAMs mean that he won't get to take out the HQ. Or at least they won't if the SAMs get any closer at the moment. This Restorer is just having a bit of fun with it. There we go, now it's in range. But that's gonna hurt. And VIP has air control. Back in the water though, he has got Navy. There is a naval fight here and X is winning it. Sainse's units getting massive damage done here against the Eco in the old base belonging to Klima. X doesn't have the defense, and that's 3 mechs dead, and probably more as these hoplites, look at the vets on them. That 3 5-vet hoplites, yes it is, and 3 5-vet Vipers, that's amazing, doing work in here. Back comes the air support as these destroyers are just going down pretty much for free to the Restorers from VIP. SAMs are being thrown up by hordes of T3 engineers here, and a cruiser is being produced to add to the anti-air defense, so the Restorers do go down, but at what cost? Because now this Navy has moved in from Crypteck. Harm's torpedo defense going up, but are they going to be able to make it in time? This is a lot of firepower. The Restorer isn't going to help much now that there are these SAMs, and one Restorer on its own isn't enough. The Harms finishes and goes under the water. I think that might be enough to defend here. Somehow enough of Sainse's mobile missile launchers have got through here, these 3 5-vet Vipers, and they're going to take out this new air grid that Zum is trying to build. Down goes the P-Gen, though. A nice quick reclaim order there prevents it going volatile. A nice quick reaction from Zum. What's his response going to be? Well, it's going to be T1 bombers. Crypteck can't stop the Harms. There's now 2 of them, and he is retreating back here with his Navy. Meanwhile, in the other pond, Jukebox Destroyer is actually getting good work done here, but look how many have just sunk. The Solaces from VIP are shredding them, and without any air control from Zum, there's nothing that Jukebox can do to stop VIP's defense. This is a lot of T3 torpedo bombers, and those destroyers are just going to have to fall back or die, or possibly, it looks like, both. What else can they do? T1 bomber defense has successfully killed off Sainse's incursions up here. Whoa, that was intense. What have we got going on? Well, repositioning of the torpedo bombers over here. I think they're going to try and help the naval defense on this side now. North team, though, have lost the eco lead. That's a huge eco lead for South team. Where's it coming from? Well, mainly from Crypteck, who, despite only being on 1 base, has 400 eco. That's more than anybody on the North team, even the players with 2 bases. So that is pretty amazing work. And we have a huge, we have a drop here. We have a cheeky drop from Sainse. I almost missed that. Now, these Jesters have seen it. They're probably going to deal with it. But meanwhile, a wave of Solaces comes in, and this HQ has just hit T3. If the Solaces take it out, that's going to be a huge loss. But the SAMs here are in position. The HQ is in the red. Zum brings his ASFs in for defense, but 1 Solace survives. If that kills it, that's going to be the most clutch kill ever, and it's going to be brutal. It's got 4,000 hit points left with the sword stopping. It's down. That is a huge, huge loss, which was completely unnecessary if Zum had just gone a tiny bit further and killed that Solace. He could have stopped that. That is huge for South Team, and this force could now push in and do the damage. The Jesters have indeed cleaned up Sainse's drop over here, but I cannot overstate how big this victory is here for South Team. And we have got a rebuild, and it's being heavily assisted, but why isn't this Navy pushing? It could be, and we have another drop. We have another drop coming in from Sainse, and that drop is fire beetles plus a stealth field. Amazing. Immediately, I love it. Anything to do with fire beetles, I love it. It's not sure where it's going to land. Where's it going to land? The transport is almost dead, but the fire beetles drop. And look at them swarming in to take out the eco. Boom. Oh, but that T2 mech survives. Not that it won't, though. 2 T2 mexes taken out by the fire beaters. Great work from Sainse. These ones are seen, though. However, if they can kill her, that's a lot of T3 engineers taken out there. Fantastic work from Sainse's fire beaters there. And Jukebox's naval yard is the next target of the Solaces. Sure, they're all going to die to the ASF from Zum, but Jukebox has lost his naval HQ. And if they don't have HQs, they can't build top tier units. Jukebox is going to have to rebuild, and he's going to have to do it fast. Nice work from VIP. But Zum has 143 ASFs now. VIP has only 70, so Zum now does have the air control. He does have the air lead if he can make sure that his units are where they need to be at the right time. But he'll need to be able to see where VIP is coming in order to be able to defend against them. And the rebuilding is going apace here. There are now 2 T3 naval yards. Battleship under construction, carrier under construction. Do we have T3? Well, not only do we have T3 production and a torrent coming out here for Crypteck, we also have a Tempest nearly finished. This is the game's first experimental. It's in the green, and this Tempest could really be a threat to X's navy if it's allowed to complete. And I don't think it's going to be stopped. Meanwhile, we already have a torrent up here from Crypteck. And unless some TMD goes up really quickly here, it could get some massive damage done as X is trying to rebuild up here. Yeah, I mean, he's built a T3 land HQ here. Oh, but there's a lot of tactical missile defense. That might be enough to hold for a while. But against multiple torrents, I think he's going to need some more. Well, this is where Jukebox has rebuilt, and he's got a T3 naval yard up of his own. We are now at T3 as well for Zerbit, who's made a mistake, and both of these are HQs, not support factories. That's an error on his part, I think. But he's got Neptunes, which are UEF T3 battle cruisers, anti-navy boats, and shield boats out, and this is a very powerful combination. So I think that Jukebox, who does have a huge destroyer army here, is going to have a problem holding against multiple Neptunes with shield support. Meanwhile, VIP has finished a nuke launcher. Do we have any anti-nukes up here? Yes, we do, but it's not yet loaded. It's just being assisted, though. Does North Team know about the nuke? Yes, they do. And these Neptunes with their shield support, look, they've just shredded the destroyer army here. There were loaded of destroyers here a second ago. Now they're all on the bottom of the ocean. And we're going to need to see more T3 coming out for Jukebox. He's now got 2 T3 factories. This one's produced a nuke sub. I think that's a mistake. I think he needs to focus production on his navy now for actual navy to navy combat. And he has nearly finished a battleship here, but is it gonna be enough? I don't know. I don't think so. This nuke sub just won't pay off if he can't hold the pond first, and against these Neptunes, against these shielded Neptunes, he is going to have a problem. Look at him falling back. X finishes an XP. What is it? It's a monkey up here. I think a Mega might have been better, which he could walk into the water, use the torpedoes, or bring down the middle to do some shooting and then use the torpedoes in the water here. Anyway, a Mega is what I would have picked for X, not a monkey. However, has Zerbit overextended? He has been forced back a bit, as there's still a decent number of destros here, and there is a battleship now out for, and there's 2 more under construction for Jukebox. VIP has resumed his solace pressure on X, but X has a carrier here. What's it? It's going for the sonar. Interesting. The sonar is a Cybran, so oh, that's right, because that's a stealth sonar. So now he'll be able to, or rather, Crypteck will be able to see all these units. And the Tempest's range means that being able to see the units from a long distance is really a big advantage. Zoom has a huge wave of torpedo bombers here coming out against the Neptunes from Zerbit. However, there are cruisers here. First one hits the shield boat, next one hit the Neptune, but there's more than enough cruisers here, and VIP's ASFs don't even need to arrive. The cruisers have shredded the torpedo bombers, and this Neptune is even still alive, and the nuke is out. Where's it going? Well, it's going for X's naval yard, and he says he's loaded. My loyal viewers, he's not. So that's going to be a bit painful, I think. Zoom is desperately assisting his SMD, which is loaded. But if X thinks he's loaded, then he's definitely in for an unpleasant surprise, because you'll see all this delicious naval production right here for X. Well, delicious it may be, but alive, it most certainly isn't. Boom! That is an immense amount of damage for VIP's nuke. How much? Well, that's 41,000 mass killed. That is very good work from VIP. Meanwhile, we have a cheeky brick plus stealth field drop here from Sainse, which pops down onto the ground here and shoots at the thing it can see, but it's doing nothing. Has Sainse forgotten it? Sainse, my friend, you got a brick here. Maybe he's forgotten it. We'll check back on it in just a little bit. But we are all about this massive naval fight, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 battleships against 2 Tempest and a bunch of Torrents here. Now, Tempest fires SO and Torrent fires missiles, so if the battleships keep moving, they might be able to defend against this, but he's going to have to keep microing them, keep moving, and it's not going to be easy work for X. And on top of that, there's all this destroyer spam sneaking in among the battleships, making it harder work for them. And X might just be forced to fall back. But what's he got to fall back to? He hasn't actually got that much to fall back. And the pressure from Crypteck is relentless. Finally, Sainse has remembered the brick. Where's it going? Well, it's going through the pond. I think that his reasoning there, he's looking for a comm. Sainse now has a nuke of his own, and if you could find a comm and nuke it, that would be pretty amazing. There is a nuke defense here, but that wouldn't cover the pond. Speaking of nukes, how are those nuke subs doing? Well, they're nowhere near loaded. See what I mean? They're not going to pay off if he can't hold the pond. But with this amount of galaxies, he's going to get some work done. And the Neptunes will come. I think they'll have to get in closer in order to make their presence felt. He needs more shield boats too. However, we have another nuke out from going for VIP, going for poor old X once again. This brick though, look at this. This is quite the hero. That was a fully T3 double capped mechs, and I think it's about to take out another. Look at this. That's 27 plus 9 is 36 eco. That's just going to go up in smoke there to this brick. Boom, lovely work. And it's going to kill that, no questions asked. Meanwhile though, I think at this time it is X's main base that is going to suffer the nuclear fire. Down it comes, and boom! Another massive hit for the nuke from VIP. That's now another 41,000 mass killed, for a total of 82,000. Amazing work from this nuke. And where's the strategic missile defense? Can they afford it? Well, X probably can't anymore. Actually, I say that, but he's still got 403 mass per tick coming in. However, they are now 700 eco behind, which is amazing. How are they going to handle it? This brick has finally died, but look at the work it got done. It got this PGen and mass fab taken out. It got some more damage done here before T1 bombers finally finished this off. And do you see what I see? Now, I'm well aware that North Team are in a very precarious position right here, but this is a Paragon. If that goes up, then that could swing the game entirely the other way. And they're going to need it, because sure, there has been some rebuilding here, but look at the barrage of missile fire from the Tempests pouring down on this forward base that was once Klima's and is now inherited by X. Sure, Eon tactical missile defense is amazing, but is there going to be enough? I don't know. And if the Tempests moved in to add a bit of firepower there, that could really help out. And look how much of X's navy is, or more to the point, isn't left. X is absolutely crumbling in the top pond. Big wave of torpedo bombers being prepared here by Zoom, but is it too little and is it too late? Well, he launches it. What's it going for? But the torrent fire is crushing this naval production. And it looks like it's going for the Tempests. Both are already badly damaged, so it might be enough. And we have another nuke out from VIP. We'll see where it goes. This Tempest is down to the torp bombers. That's 1 XP down for South Team. And they come back on another pass. That's the other Tempest down, but the barrage of torrent fire is going to take out the naval HQ, and X is left with nothing navally. Well, 2 battleships, but essentially nothing navally. Where's this nuke going? Well, it's going for the side island here, belonging to... Oh. So is Sainse's nuke. That is not good team play. They didn't communicate, and so they both nuked the same place. Sainse's nuke will be wasted. But this nuke from VIP is going to take out Jukebox's side island. It is going to take out his naval HQ. Fantastic work. How much damage did that get done? Well, now look at this. That's 115,000 mass total killed, and I can't do the maths in my head, but that's like another 40,000. Okay, another 30-something thousand. Sainse's nuke, meanwhile, kills a couple of flak. Was it worth it to kill 200 mass? I would say no. Crypteck, meanwhile, finishes a Tsar. Oh, but that's not built, that's given. He's just given the Tsar straight over to VIP to use with his air. The nuke subs are coming forward, they're nearly loaded, but is that too little too late? Also, I said that I thought that Jukebox is going to have trouble in the North Pod, especially now that's the second time he's lost his naval HQ. But he's actually applying pretty decent pressure to Zerbit here. I'm surprised how well he is doing. And under consistent fire from these Galaxy classes, Zerbit has been forced back, and there's another one coming in, but he's still got the production, and Jukebox notably hasn't. He is spamming it up as fast as he possibly can, but will it be fast enough? Meanwhile, look at the bombardment that is about to be unleashed on X's base as the torrents are moving in. Sure, there's tactical missile defense here, but there's not going to be enough to defend over here when there's so much eco that could be taken out by this bombardment. And getting it from the air is going to be difficult with this many cruisers forming a wall in between Crypteck and any possible air response from Zoom. Meanwhile though, the nuke subs are loaded and the first one fires. Where's it going? It's going for Zerbit's navy. However, Zerbit has an SMD and it's loaded twice. I think that's going to be caught. It would really help Jukebox if it managed to get through. Look at this pressure. He's actually really doing great work with his navy. In comes the nuke. Is it going to get in? It actually... No, the anti-nuke is off. Another nuke is off. This nuke launcher is still loaded. But where's that going? We can't see yet. Oh no, that's going this way. Is that going for Sainse? I think that might be going for Sainse. Yeah, it is. I saw a flash go there. But Sainse is just this second loaded. That's a clutch nuclear missile defense, as Sainse also loads his nuke again. And Sainse nukes of his own, and that is going for, we saw on the map there, Jukebox's naval yard. And I do not think that one is going to be stopped. How's the Paragon doing? Well, that is 69% done. Nice. And down here, the Paragon that has been started in response by VIP is 54% done. So the Paragon off is slightly in the lead for North Team when they desperately need it. When they desperately need it even more, when Jukebox doesn't have naval production anymore. That is painful for Jukebox, but his HQ is actually all the way down here and so can keep on producing. And in fact, though it's been stunned, this naval yard has survived, so that wasn't as good a nuke as we could have hoped for from Sainse. It's only killed, I say only, it's killed 30k mass, which is amazing, but it's only killed 30k mass. And there is still a T3 naval production for Jukebox. However, now the Tsar that was given over to VIP is coming out, and the battleships have no answer to that. And so Zerbit is definitely going to hold his pond. Tactical missiles coming out from the nuke subs. That's a feature of cyber nuke subs. They have tactical missile launchers. And this single cruiser is taking pot shots at the Tsar, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and the Riptide kills it. So things are, and if you look back up here, look at this naval bombardment. This is epic, as wave after wave of torrents fires in, and now we've got one shooting up here as well. X's expansion being hit by a torrent. X's main base completely wiped out. X does still have 200 eco somehow, but Zoom finishes the Paragon and immediately starts working on a salvation. How's the Paragon coming? For, well, somehow VIP's caught up and has also finished the Paragon. So now, both teams have a Paragon. Both teams have essentially infinite mass. Who's going to make the better use of it? Salvation here, being focused, and that's 25% done. Salvation here being focused. Oh no, shields being focused first. So maybe the salvation will be finished first for and look at this is good. All of the eco, the pigeons and the mexes have been given over to Jukebox because now Zoom doesn't need them. He's got a paragon, so he can give it all to Jukebox to make better use of himself. And exactly the same thing, at least for the pigeons, going on here, going to Sainse. Will Sainse also receive the mexes? Not yet, but maybe he's got that planned. 37% on the paragon, on the salvation there, compared to the salvation in the green here at 82% for Zoom. Zoom is going to have the salvation up first, and that is going to hurt if he can make good use of it. But will he be able to make good use of it? I'm sure he'll be targeting the enemy salvation, the enemy paragon, as this salvation finishes. But it's going to be heavily shielded. Will he be able to stop it? He's immediately starting work on his second salvation down here as he starts shielding his first one. But now the salvation for VIP is finished. And they're going to be firing on each other. I have absolutely no doubt about it. Yes, they are. We can see the salvation fire crossing in the middle. Look at the attempts. This tactical missile defense is really holding out well. What's Zerbit built? Well, he's built in Novax. That could be interesting. But I think the salvations are going to be the real power play here. And look at the insane assistance on this shield from the salvations, barely scratching it thanks to the incredible levels of assistance from VIP. This salvation, however, might take some damage if the shield isn't protected. It is. That could be. So will that second salvation go up? This shield here goes down. It might actually not. Oh, 300 hit points on it left, even though it's it's already 5. Yeah, look at that. It's being set back again and again. More shields going up though, and if they're assisted too. We have a nuke out. Who's nuking who? Saints is nuking somebody. Over here, the shield is that's a teleport. That's a teleport, and that's Saints who's got telemaser. And is this how it's going to end, my loyal viewers? We have a teleport coming in. I don't see any point defense here. If Saints can kill the paragon, sure, he'll die in the bomb, but this is going to be horrific. It is horrific. Zoom dies. Sure, Saints dies, but Zoom dies. The paragon dies. The salvation dies. Everything dies. The air grid dies. North team's hopes die. And this nuke of the rebuilt naval yards is almost an afterthought, as suddenly North team have nothing. There's nothing to stop the salvation fire. There's no eco to rebuild, and North team recall. That paragon looks like it was going to be a comeback for North team, but Saints just sacrificed himself. I'm not going to say for the greater good, because it was a telemaser and that's never the greater good, but that was not the ending I expected. When North team finished their paragon first, I thought we were in for an amazing comeback. But what a spectacular explosion to finish everything off. Tell me what you thought in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. Because I'm the Commissar, and we will see you next time.